Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lessons about. Let's hang out. And let's listen to 2 lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Hang Out. I'm Ellie Brigida.
And I'm Lee Holmes Foster, and here's what's happening this week.
This week in the Lesdom.
This week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. We are in the middle of our Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign for Journey to the Heart. Thank you all so much for supporting us so far. We have 100 Indiegogo supporters. I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, we will have even more. We have made $14,000, and we also have a matching campaign that's going to continue through the end of the day today for up to $2,500. So if you've been waiting, now's the time. We have a little under 2 weeks left of our campaign, so we really need a big push from you all. You can support at bit.ly/support Journey to the Heart.
Other news that we want to let you know about is a reminder that we are in the running for a Webby Award, which is very exciting. We are up against some really big studio networks like HBO and Wolf Entertainment, and we're just little old Dollar Bean Productions. So if you want to vote for The Flame, every vote matters. You only vote once. Everybody can only vote once. So every vote really makes a huge difference, and it doesn't require you to be voting like 12 times a day, every day from your phone and your computer and everything. Just once, one single vote. You can go on one time to bit.ly/vote for the flame and help us out. And speaking of why we're making this project, because listen, we're going to try not to, we could do a whole episode on this. Maybe we will do a whole episode on this someday. Who knows? In the greater Les universe, there is something that we have to talk about right now. So, spoiler alert for the Killing Eve finale, if anyone hasn't watched it yet, maybe just skip this section because we're gonna talk a little bit about this. When Ellie and I decided to make The Flame all those many moons ago, we sat down and said, hey, you know what we wish existed is more stories about queer joy. And you know what else we wish existed are like queer musicals with like songs that queer people could sing and not have to like change the pronouns or like sing about dudes or whatever. Like, but we just really wanted characters, like queer characters, to have happy endings because I know you've heard us say it before, there are so few, like 5% of queer stories have happy endings, and it just made us really depressed. And so we set out to make The Flame, and we are setting out to make Journey to the Heart to change that and to tell stories that can still have conflict and still have drama and still have angst, but that at the end of the day, like we are promising you, are going to end well.
Yes.
We'll end with a happy
ending.
And it's just, the Killing Eve finale wasn't that. That.
Can I jump in really quickly on this because
please, because I feel like
it
I'm speechless.
Has wrecked me.
Yes.
And I just want to say I have a few feelings on this, a lot of feelings. But number one, we knew that this was not going to end in a happy ending. Maybe, right? Like, it's Killing Eve. I get it. Like, it's a story about a psychopath assassin, right? And someone who like works for the government and then doesn't work for the government. You know, wherever Eve goes, but like they've killed a lot of people. There's a lot of death and destruction that surround them, right? This isn't rainbows and butterflies. Like, I get it. However,
no one is upset at death in this show.
Yes.
And
right?
no one is surprised at death.
No
in
one is
this show.
surprised at it. It's just like the way that it was done. The bury your gaze trope, right? The
Yep.
bury your gaze trope is not just that queer people die, right?
Yes.
A lot of people think, oh, bury your gaze, you can never kill a gay. No. The bury your gaze trope is 2 gay people get this moment of pure bliss, ecstasy, happiness to be immediately cut down and killed. Okay, so it's not just the killing part. It's the fact that there's this heightened thing. You're like, wow, they're really doing well. And they are
Yeah.
knocked right down. And the psychological impact of
It
that
is-
is immense.
It is getting that kiss immediately followed by that scream of just pain and suffering and loss. And it's not great. And it is, listen, here in the year of our Lord 2022, I can't believe we are still doing this. Like, I honestly think that's what shocked me more. It's not that you're shocked by the death. It's not that you're shocked by either one of these characters potentially dying. I was shocked that they did it this badly. Like, how do you fuck it up this badly when there are so many resources to not fuck it up like this? Like, there are ample ways that you could have avoided doing this. We didn't. So we would just like to say, listen, we know like the Killing Eve fandom right now is in some hurt, and we hear it and we're sorry, and this is not going to fix that. But for just queer people in general, like, again, if you want to stop having stories hurt you, there are other people trying to tell stories that won't do that. We are not the only queer content creators out there who have really kind of internalized this idea that like we can do better and we as queer people deserve better. So I hate to like turn that into a pitch while we're doing this, but like but it's like that has just been, it is so hard to sit here and be trying as hard as we are to tell the stories that we want to tell, and to have it be so hard and to have it take so much work to be able to do that when there are people with like the budgets of God and just like this cast and crew of incredibly talented people who just drop the ball that much. Like, it's absolutely wild to me that this happened to us again.
Yep. And
so anyways,
also, well,
that's,
and also
that's what's happening. That's what our week's been,
Yes.
right? That's
well, and also I do want to say like it just solidifies our mission,
yes,
which is
100%.
that our mission is to tell happy queer stories, and we will never stop doing that because clearly we need to keep doing it.
Yeah, and that does, like, you can tell stories that are like have pain and hurt and angst and whatever. Like, come on, I wrote mine for you, Ellie. Like, there's not,
Yep.
it's not like we don't, want to have like
Experience
the
whole
range
spectrum
of
of
human
emotions.
Yeah, but it's gonna have a happy ending in the end. At least some type of happy ending. Like, that can mean a lot of different things. It's gonna be a happy ending, okay? So,
Whew!
so anyways, that's what's been happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Lee.
Thanks, Ellie and Lee, and welcome to our 82nd installment of Shoulda Been Gay.
Oh, it was fun, it was great, but it should have been a little more gay.
And in this week's episode, we can do it in the Petland stock room.
Oh my god. We could, but we won't.
You don't know where we're recording this from. We found a Petland and we are in the stock room, people.
Yeah, we are recording this from the Petland stock room right now.
Can you make it sound a little echoier? In the
Yeah.
edit, Ellie?
Like we're completely in the stock room. I cannot. We're talking about a little movie called The Edge of 17. It is currently on Netflix, which is why we decided we were going to watch it. But let's break down our IMDb synopsis.
Okay. Our IMDb synopsis, for anyone who has not seen this movie, is as follows. High school life gets even more unbearable for Nadine when her best friend Krista starts dating her older brother.
Tough for
I
Nadine.
mean,
And this film also starring Haley Steinfeld as Nadine. Very important. I also want to point out another important thing, which is when I searched for the IMDb synopsis of this film, I wrote Edge of 17. The first thing that comes up is a movie from 1998, which is not the Edge of 17 that we're talking about, but really fits with the Should Have Been Gay, because here's the synopsis.
Another movie called The Edge of 17.
Yes. It's actually called Edge of 17.
Oh,
and this one
totally
is called
different.
The Edge, okay?
How
We
could
got
anyone get those confused?
Right? So here's the synopsis for this other film, just as a little gay sprinkle on top. A teenager copes with his sexuality on the last day of school in 1984. It shows him coping with being gay and being with friends. Also, what is that synopsis? Being gay and being with friends. It also stars
Yeah.
Lea DeLaria, which I saw. I've never seen this film. But I would just like to
Incredible.
say, if I can find another gay film by the same name, you've got a problem. And it's a gay problem.
It's a gay problem, especially when your lead is Haley Steinfeld in that jacket.
Oh my God,
what
the
is that? Her best like Otis
outfits.
from Sex Ed cosplay jacket. Like, what is happening?
She didn't even know that she was cosplaying Otis when this film came out, but she knew it. Yeah, it is Haley Steinfeld in general. We all know. We have seen her play so many gay characters. I feel like, okay, this movie came out. What year did this movie come out?
You know when it came out? In 2016, right on the edge of 2017. Which also makes me laugh.
Nice. So it came out in 2016. When did Pitch Perfect 3 come out?
Oh, great question.
Because I just am curious also of like the evolution.
Pitch Perfect 3 came out in 2017.
Okay, yeah. So this, I feel like, is really...
Her roles have only continued to get gayer. They've only gotten gayer.
They truly have. But I also feel like she started off in a super gay role. If this is what like propels you to stardom, like, you're gay.
Oh my God.
This is a gay film.
Before we dive in,
I'm sorry.
give me your gay synopsis.
Okay,
Ellie.
so my gay synopsis for this film is The Edge of 17 is what happens when the brother stand-in goes way too far. And I'm pissed about it. That's it.
My gay synopsis for this movie, I thought long and hard about this, okay? Because listen, there were a lot of options. I wasn't sure what direction I wanted to go in. And I feel like my gay synopsis is really, it's like a PSA, okay? So my gay synopsis, PSA for this movie is, hey, lil gabies, if you're watching this movie and it's bringing up some stuff in you, like, please come talk to us. You're not into Irwin, okay? Please.
You need some gay help.
Please come let us help you. We can help you. This movie got it all wrong. It's all wrong.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong. But we can help you. That's my PSA.
Another gay synopsis I had was, this movie is a teenage lesbian nightmare.
It really is. It really is.
A nightmare. Like,
listen,
it is
so
horrifying. I felt
here's
so
the deal.
much.
Here's the deal. I'll give my experience with this movie, I think, as some context, because I went in, I was just making some rounds. Sometimes we just need to, scroll through the Netflix list, see what's easy to watch. And I was trying to, add to our ever-growing list of should have been gay suggestions. And I saw this with Haley Steinfeld in that jacket. I almost didn't even watch the trailer. I was just like, done. Haley, you can't convince me that Haley Steinfeld in that outfit is not going to be fodder for a should have been gay.
I'm pretty positive people have suggested this one. Like, I cannot imagine that no one has recommended this as well.
Either way, I was like, done. That's what we're watching. Here we go. And started it for, I'm going to say, probably solidly the first 30 minutes. I was like, this is the gayest movie I've ever seen.
I wish this movie continued the story it was telling in the first 15 minutes.
And here's what I'll say, Ellie. I just have endless notes. Like, I have more sometimes I'll watch a movie and my notes for our Should Have Been Gay episodes are like 6 lines long, right? I have like 20 lines of notes on this. And every single one of them is probably in the first 30 minutes
Oh,
of this
yeah.
movie, because the end of my notes, I have one note on the scene where she does the whole like it's me or him pick,
Yep.
and then I have 3 notes for the rest of the movie.
Oh,
when
yeah.
does that scene happen? Like 20
Oh,
minutes
it's
in?
so early. It's
so early, right? After that scene, I immediately lost interest in everything else happening in the movie because it's the wrong movie. It's not the right movie.
In terms of my experience, I think this is important too as you're talking about this. So this movie came out in 2016. I don't think I watched this with a should have been gay lens.
I mean, we met in like 2015. And
yeah.
we were out.
But when I first saw this movie, I didn't really watch it with like an intense should have been gay lens. I just watched it, and yeah, I was pissed because I was like, why don't they get together? But like, I watched it with no expectations, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to say, like, The Edge of 17 has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's a very highly rated film. It's very well acted. For the film that it is a good film.
She's great in this. Haley Steinfeld is great in this. Woody Harrelson is great in this. Like, everyone does great.
But it should have been written completely differently. Like, when you watch it from a should have been gay lens, I agree. I checked out like pretty hard towards the end of it because I was like, wow, Nadine and Krista are not even talking to each other. I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, well, okay, so here's the problem. If we were going to remake this movie,
Yep.
because please,
We
God,
will.
for the love of God, somebody needs to remake this movie, okay? Because the first, like, 20 minutes, no notes, perfect, A+ movie, heading in a great direction.
Can we talk about the first 20 minutes, though?
No, oh yeah, we're going to.
Okay.
We're going to. I'm just saying, like, starts out so strong, and then it's like, here's where we're going along this track, making our way down the track, and then all of a sudden, it's like, whoop, now we're over here. And you're like, why? We were going that. I wanted to go that on the track that way.
Yep.
And it's like, nope, I decided to like wildly swerve in this direction. And then you just like ride this rocky dirt road of nonsense for the whole rest of the film. And it's all downhill for me. But I would love to do a deep, deep dive into the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie with you and then talk about why it goes so wildly wrong. So
I'm here for that.
Okay, shall we start at the top, because we open on just the quintessential the gay outfit of this movie, which I cannot. It's so gay.
It's
her
so gay.
The skirt, the mismatched, the tights into the socks, into the Vans,
jacket.
into the jacket. I mean, it's sweetie.
It is
Sweetie
so
honey
gay.
pie. You're not straight.
So gay. Like grown up Haley Steinfeld gay. But then
Hey.
the flashback, it's literally like this girl has been a lesbian since she was 7 years old.
Yes. I mean, for sure. But I have one note even before the flashback. There's so much gay that happens in this intro scene. So we meet her in that outfit. She like walks into her teacher's class and tells him that she's going to kill herself.
Yep.
Right? And I shouldn't be laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that she says how, which is she's going to like throw herself in front of a bus.
Yep.
Or a U-Haul maybe.
Yep. U-Haul.
And I'm like, literally the hits keep coming. Yeah, of course you're going to throw yourself in front of a U-Haul. That would be the gayest thing to do when your girlfriend starts dating your brother.
Yep.
Accurate. But yes, then we meet tiny 7-year-old, also gay, Nadine.
Literally the gayest. She's talking about how, her family life and her mom never got her and her dad was always the person, whatever. And then she's like, I had no friends until an angel. She turns around to see this girl and like immediately falls in love with her, and she calls her an angel.
Wait. And also it's the gayest sentence in the world, because
Yes.
she goes, an angel appeared. She was dressed like a small elderly gentleman. And I'm like, gay. So also she was gay the whole time. So you've both been gay since age 7, because Krista showed up gay. Like,
yes.
What 7-year-old dresses like a tiny elderly man? A gay one.
A gay one. A gay one.
Also she introduces this whole concept by saying around second grade, I had a realization. There are two types of people in this world, and I'm like, you damn right.
Yeah,
The
you're
straight
like-
ones, of which you are not, and the gay ones, of which
you
are
one.
right? And also, like, wait, God, literally every single thing that happens in the first couple minutes of this
the
movie,
first
like,
few minutes is
I had to pause so many times. So the other kids, right, like all the bullies when she's 7, the bullies push her down in the playground. And what do you remember what the girl says to her?
yes, that she's gonna get AIDS.
Yeah, you
Which
suck
is-
and you're gonna get
yes.
AIDS. And I'm like, that's not just like a random
Yep,
insult.
that is a very
like, that's a
homosexually targeted.
homophobic insult. Like,
Yes.
you're being hate crimed at age 7 because you're so gay before you fall in love with your tiny elderly man best friend.
Yep. And
And what
then
happens when they fall in love, Ellie?
she literally brings her this worm, and then she says, "We can be its two moms."
If you want, you could be his other mom. Brings her a caterpillar, and they immediately adopt a pet together because,
Whoa.
listen, like, I think I paused this movie a good 12 times in the first 5 minutes. I literally could not. I could not.
This is like the cutest childhood meet cute you could ever
Yes.
have for two little gay lesbians. This is the
Yes.
most adorable meet cute I've ever seen. And you would expect that would mean, okay, we're moving into the future and they're still in love. And to be fair, they still are, but we can
They
talk
still
even
are. Yes.
we can talk even more because there's still more there. She also says she smelled like sweet tarts. Like, I just feel like you like okay, like when you met your when you met your best friend, right? When you're like younger and you meet your best friend. Like, I feel like for me, yes, I was a little gay baby, but like still, I feel like I was not like madly in love with my second grade best friend. I would remember things about her like, oh, like she was fun. Not like she smelled like lavender and roses and like
and looked like an elderly man. Yeah.
yeah, and like had a halo around her head. Like she like falls madly in love with
Yes.
Krista.
Well, and this is maybe where I'll say this is why the movie is wrong. This is why the movie
It's
is wrong.
so wrong.
Because the whole point of this intro section, right? She's basically explaining, she's like, hey, here's why my life is such an absolute garbage pile, right? Because everything from there is kind of shit, right? So she's like, I was young, my brother was always like better and more popular and better looking and whatever, and my life was always shit, right? Like, I never had any friends,
Yep.
I never really fit in, I wasn't ever really good at all of the stuff, but everything changed when I met Krista. I
Yep.
met my best friend, and she was the most important thing in my life from age 7 on.
Yep.
Until today, until she's now like a junior in high school, right? So
Yep.
it's like the whole setup of this movie is like everything was shit. Then my dad died, and that was shit. And then like everything that was bad, everything that has ever been bad in her life is held up as a contrast
To the best
to
thing
meeting
that
Krista.
ever happened. It's
To the best
literally
thing
vows
in her life, right? Yes. And it's like just like, I mean, come on. Then we jump to her. She's 13 because then we jump to the age where her dad dies. Her at 13 with that fucking haircut and that
Rough.
fucking outfit. I'm like, oh my God, you are like,
poor little
you
gay
tell
bee.
me, you find me like a full gay woman now in adulthood who does not watch that scene and just like cringe in like shared pain and
Yep.
understanding of having been a 13-year-old gay bee who just couldn't figure shit out for yourself, you know? Like, yes,
Yes.
get it. We've all been there. We have all had that year, Nadine. We're there with you, holding up. Like, am I this man in the in in People magazine? And if not, what am I? What's
Yeah.
happening? You're a dyke, baby girl. It's okay.
It's okay. That
it's
hairdo.
okay.
That hairdo.
Oh, it's so much. So gay. So her father has a heart attack, dies. It's horrible. I mean, listen, like this movie is really depressing.
It's a very
in a lot of ways.
depressing film. Very depressing film.
But still, the one constant is she has Krista. Goes to school, has Krista. At home, has Krista. Anywhere, Krista is the main point of this.
Yep.
My whole life revolves around
And
this
Krista.
one person.
Yep.
Okay, so the movie is about Krista, is about Nadine and Krista. Like, that's what they spend the whole intro to this movie setting up,
Yes,
right?
that's what
It's
they
like,
set up.
This whole
Yes.
movie is about these two people and their relationship and the importance of their relationship to Nadine.
And then too, when they're older, right? They have this whole like Nadine's mom leaves. Nadine's like, I have the house. They have the gayest dibs on the house for her and Krista. They have the gayest like sleepover montage I have ever seen.
Yes. I was having like flashbacks through that scene because first of all, who does this? If your parents are going out of town and you have a best friend and you want to hang out with your best friend all weekend, you can just hang out with your best friend.
Oh yeah,
all
you
weekend.
don't need
like,
you don't need your
to
brother
call
out of the
dibs
house.
on the house.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like I call dibs on the house not to have a party, not to have other people come over, not to like throw a rager in the pool. I call dibs on the house just so you can hook up with your girlfriend all weekend. Like that's it.
That
and
is literally
it was giving me flashbacks because literally, so when I was in college, like when Kelsey and I were dating in college, the funniest thing that we used to think was such a kick is like, okay, college, like everyone remembers like sexiling your roommates in college, right?
Yeah.
And being like, I need the room tonight. I need this. So when we were in college, my roommate had this girl that they were not together. They were not dating, right? But like they were, but they weren't. They weren't hooking up, but everyone is like, but you're dating each other. Like you might not be having sex, but like you're together. Because what used to happen to me all the time is like she would ask for our room so that they could like stay up and watch movies and cuddle together all the time. They weren't hooking
You're
up.
You're not. But like,
but she used to kick me.
Look,
she
why
used
do
to
you
kick
need
me out
privacy
of
for
our
that?
room. Yes. I'm like, why can't I be there for movie night? No, like they need special them movie night. And I'm like, yes, because there is something else happening here that you need emotional intimacy that I cannot be there for because you're together. But that's why I was like, I literally was having like flashbacks to college where I was like, oh my God, who else does that? Like, if you need that level of intimacy, like without other people around, like just you and Krista,
dating.
like, sweetie,
You're dating,
honey. Oh my God, dibs on the house. What is happening right now?
That like absolutely wrecked me too, because also like number one, they're getting drunk, just the two of them.
Yes.
Right? I'm like, you're having a party, just the two of you. You're having a sleepover. You're like jumping on the bed, like hugging, dancing. Like there's literally a moment where she says,
Did you write it down?
Yeah, I love you. I love those teeth in your mouth. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
She says, I love you. I love those teeth in your mouth. Like, what are you talking about?
They're
Nadine,
drunk and complimenting each other, staring deeply into each other's eyes after having requested the house all weekend.
all to themselves.
For themselves. I'm like, oh
my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I also just have to say, like, really it is. Okay, I wish the film, didn't end there, but like, do not have anything that happened after this ever happen.
No.
Get rid of every single part after this. It was so tragic. Like, that's why I said lesbian nightmare. Like, this is a horror film for lesbians.
It really is. Here's the problem. It's so bad. It's so bad because all I see after that is this poor confused lesbian who has not figured it out yet.
Yes.
This poor confused girl just bouncing between these two beards. Trying,
like, literally so painful.
Trying so hard to figure it out and then never getting there.
But then,
never getting there.
Because it's a hetero movie, they're like, oh, but she was in love with Erwin all along.
You know what the worst scene in this entire movie is for me? is
The end.
okay, so listen.
Sorry to
for anyone who
skip
has not,
everything. But...
Sorry for anyone who has not watched the movie yet and has no idea what we're talking about. So they have this definitely not hooking up with each other house weekend, and Nadine gets drunk and Krista hooks up with the brother. She wakes up, Krista's in bed with her brother, and loses her absolute little gay mind, which any of us would. Listen, like, it really is the
Nadine.
trope gone wrong. Like, it is too far.
That's why I said
too
it is
far.
a brother stand-in that is way too goes
so
way too far.
Wrong.
Goes
it's so wrong.
bad. Like, so bad.
And Krista starts dating the brother, his name is Darian, and he's supposed to be like the hottest, coolest jock that everybody loves and's got everything going for him. Whatever. Fuck Darian. And the worst scene for me in this entire... Because listen, there's a lot of contenders for worst scenes. Like, there's a lot of bad, awkward, just uncomfortable shit to sit through that happens. The worst scene for me in this whole movie is when Darian and Krista invite her to the party with them. And they drive to this party. Darian and Krista in the front seats. Nadine sitting in the middle, in the back, sitting between them, and Darian pulls up, parks at this party, and you just get this shot of, like, him and Krista sitting in the front, like, laughing, and Nadine sitting in the backseat in that gay-as-fuck jacket, sitting there just with this, like, 1,000-yard stare, like, looking dead center through the front windshield of the car, and you can just see her brain going, like, how is this happening to me?
Yep.
How am I, like, third wheeling on a date with my girlfriend and my brother right now? Like, how did I get here?
How?
What is
happening? That's my point of, like, how did this happen? Because, I'm sorry, it also is just like, okay, Krista pisses me off as well.
Yes.
Because, okay, maybe it's because I empathize with little gay Nadine. And, like, if Krista actually is... Okay, so if we actually look at this, how the film is presenting it, which even still, like, that they're both straight, whatever. But, like...
I don't buy it.
If we're looking at it the way that it presents it, even if we say Nadine is a lesbian and has a huge crush on Krista, and Krista's straight, and, like, really, like, love Nadine, but, like, she's straight, and, like, now she's in love with this boy, and so she's gonna, like, whatever... How do you just, like, completely ditch your best friend like that? Like, how do you do it? Like, it just doesn't feel right to me.
It doesn't feel right, and it's also, like, again, here is where sometimes you're just like, people, you made the wrong movie because you had all of this intro. There is so much other stuff that could have been cut in this movie, and you had all of that intro, and you wasted not 1 second of that intro in establishing any interest that Krista ever has had in the brother. Not once.
Yep.
Not a glance.
Yep.
Not a sentence. Not, like, a flutter of an eye. Nothing. You have never ever shown anything to indicate that she was interested in the brother. You see them making fun of the brother together, and you didn't even use that scene to have her, like, give a half-hearted shrug or be like, ha-ha, and then look at him longingly.
Or whatever. Yeah, like, nothing.
You had opportunities, and you didn't even want to use them. Because you weren't setting that up.
Nothing.
You just didn't. You chose not to. You didn't set up him being into her. Like, you could have told this story and added 10 minutes to the intro and cut it somewhere else to show Darian or Krista ever being interested in each other in either direction.
It is wild how fast it happens and how fast Krista just dumps Nadine. I'm like, okay, when I see this, Nadine and Krista are madly in love with each other.
Yes.
Krista is just as in love with Nadine as Nadine is with Krista. And so I'm like, I am also equally like, what the shit happened? Like, there is no, like, in between where they're like, have any sort of explanation. Krista and Darian, like are fine together. They're very much, like, so boring, right? Like, so just like, okay, fine. Like, and it's like, what is happening?
Like, okay, fine. You touched my wiener. We're dating now.
Yeah, like, literally.
Yeah,
what?
It's bad. I have one, like, headcanon that I'm telling myself, Ellie, for when we remake this movie. And that is that because when Nadine gets drunk, right, and passes out in the bathroom before Krista hooks up with Darian.
Yeah.
So when that happens...
Also, wait, can we talk about when she's throwing up? Because also the intimacy...
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Is like that whole scene, right? So she gets drunk and she's throwing up and she's like, I don't even like me. Why do you like me? Right? And like Krista's trying to be like, oh, honey, pat the head, like comfort her, make her feel better, but also is like, don't you want to go to your bed? Like, don't you want to wake up in your own bed tomorrow? Right? And she's like very clearly like trying to get her in bed. And so here's my new headcanon is that Krista was like ready. That was like the night she was gonna like make the move. She was gonna like put it all out there. And instead Nadine got drunk and then Krista felt rejected. And so she like goes and like displaces everything onto the brother. And that is a conversation that they could have later on when they actually like discuss their feelings together. And that's what comes out is that she's like, well, I was gonna like make a move that night and instead like you didn't want me and like you got drunk and slept in the bathroom. And then Nadine's like, I definitely wanted you. That's why I got so drunk, is because I was like so nervous about my own feelings. And like then they work through their shit and then they end up together. That's my like, I'm rewriting this in my head, right?
I would love that because that's the thing. Okay, fine. You want to tell this whole story about how what happens when your best friend starts sleeping with your brother. Fine. Okay, fine. We have that happen.
But tell that story. They just drop it. They just disappear. Krista disappears.
Literally disappears from the...
I can't stop yelling.
No, because
you're going to have to like edit my volume down because I cannot be less upset about that. It's just me screaming into my microphone. She disappears. Where does she go?
Insane. I mean, I feel like she disappears into the confines of heteronormativity, right? The second she gets a boyfriend, she literally ceases to exist. Like, how fucking what?
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/letshangout today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/letshangout.
Let's hang out.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. And when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. ShopPay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Tears.
Like,
It's insane. Your whole intro of your movie is like, this is the most important person on planet Earth. And then she just fades into obscurity in the span of like 5 minutes. It's wild.
insane. They never have so they have that conversation, right, where she goes to the party and Krista ditches her, and then she's like, all right, well, this sucks. So Nadine leaves and goes and has this like weird little date with Erwin where like he tries to kiss her and she literally
Erwin
does not want to kiss. Erwin is very sweet.
Freaks the fuck out.
She freaks out because of course she doesn't want to kiss Erwin, even though he's very nice. She's a big old lesbian and the love of her life is like with another person. Like she's not in the mood.
Okay. But wait, also, can we discuss when they do break up in the hallway? Because the whole, like, ultimatum conversation, she doesn't even bring up the brother. What does she bring up? She brings up her complimenting
her talking to other girls.
other girl at the party. She's like, that's what they fight about when she comes to find her at school the next day, right? Like, Krista comes to find her, and she's like, you're upset because we, like, ditched you to go play beer pong. And she's like, you know what I saw? And she's like, oh my God, I love your outfit. And she's like, she's upset that she complimented
another girl
and was like getting close to another girl. She's not even bringing up the brother. She's like, forget Darian. Darian is clearly an afterthought in this whole equation. She's like, you're ditching me and now you're hitting on other girls. And I mean, what? It's me or him. You have to pick one of us.
Yep. Which is also like, oh, there's so many opportunities in this film, right? Okay, it's me or him. You have to pick one of us, right? And Krista's like, fine, it's him. No, like, I would love why don't you have a little bit more nuance there? It's me or him. You have to pick. And Krista's like, I could never pick between the two of you. I love you so much, Nadine. Like, blah, blah, blah. And then they keep fighting a little bit, whatever. And she's like, no, maybe that's fine. Maybe they have that break, but it's like, they never talk again.
They never talk again. Krista pieces the fuck out.
That is the last conversation Nadine and Krista have.
Ever have in this movie.
Until the end of the film. And they don't even talk to each other. Nadine says, what does she even say? Like, have a great morning.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Nadine says to Darian, I missed her. What the actual fuck? There's been an hour of film without Krista in it.
Yeah, it is horrible.
Insane.
It's horrible. And then what they do instead is, instead of having any nuance, instead of dealing with the relationship that they spent the whole movie
Nadine and
setting
Krista
up, right? They just drop that like a sack of fucking bricks And instead, you spend the whole rest of the movie with poor, confused Nadine just bearding her way around town, going like, I'm into this guy then. No, maybe that other guy. Definitely one of these guys. I'm definitely into a guy, and it's probably one of these two guys. Not sure which one, because I don't really seem to be very into either one of them, but it's probably definitely a guy and not Krista, who I am losing my mind and sanity over for the next 45 minutes of this film. It's rough.
It is wild.
It is rough.
It is wild. So let's talk about the men briefly.
Oh my god.
So let's start with Erwin.
I love Erwin.
Because Erwin is very endearing. We love Erwin. Personally, okay, if I were to rewrite, there's a few ways I would rewrite this.
Did you date a lot of Erwins in high school?
Oh, I dated so many Erwins. But yeah,
that's all I could think about when I was watching.
Yeah, you were like,
it's how we just had that conversation about how you're like, yeah, I dated every like non-threatening, inoffensive, non-threatening, friendly, nice, sweet, kind guy that I was not into at all. And I was like, wow, they could not have captured that better if they had tried.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd how accurate it is.
He's like the safest, easiest person to talk to. Like, did they ever kiss?
No.
They never kiss. Right?
No.
We never see them kiss.
She shows up with flowers for him.
Yeah, we never see them kiss, which makes sense.
She kisses the other dude.
Yeah, which that's
also horrible.
Yeah. But so, also, I'm like, to be fair, I feel like I've had that opposite experience as well, because men suck. For sure. I won't even, we all understand what that experience is. But I wanted to talk really quickly about Erwin because, yes, like, safe man. However, I also think it'd be really interesting if Erwin was actually a woman, right? And so if Nadine, like, the entire time, like, there was this out lesbian, right? She's already out, and she sits next to Nadine in class, and she keeps trying to talk to Nadine, and Nadine keeps saying to Krista, like, there's this girl in my class, she keeps trying to talk to me, like, she's nice, but whatever, right? And then, like, we actually have Nadine explore her sexuality with this, like, really, like, friendly Erwin type, but it's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, listen, it would be more believable than Erwin.
Exactly. And so then you have this whole thing where then, like, Krista could see Nadine with this other girl, and she's like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Like, and then Krista would get jealous.
Yes, and then Krista would get jealous, and then they would actually have their confrontation. They would talk about the night that she got drunk and what went wrong and how they have ended up here. Krista would break up with the fucking brother, and they would get together the way that they're supposed to be together. Because
the way that
makes
they're
a million times
it makes so much more sense.
It makes so much more sense. Here's the other thing that I hate about this, because here's the problem. Unironically, I adore Erwin. I think they're
he's
totally
amazing.
right. I'm like, listen, I also want to carry Erwin around in a baby Bjorn. I think he is
he's
the
so
best.
Cute. He's so
what a great guy.
Awesome.
And if you're gonna pick a beard, like, yeah, he's the perfect beard. Listen, he is non-threatening. He is so into you, and he's just gonna be so easygoing. He's never gonna pressure you into anything. He's all like cute and well groomed, and he's not hairy, and he's rich as shit. I'm like, listen, if you're gonna beard up, like, you could do worse than Erwin, okay?
True.
But here's my PSA at the beginning is not just for you baby gays. My PSA is also for all the Erwins out there, because, like, Erwin, she can't give you what you need, man. She can't be what you want her to be. She is not into you. It's sweet. You made her a really sweet movie. The alien thing is cute. You're trying so hard. You're so patient. And you just want to be like, oh, kiddos, you are all going to be so sad by the end of this.
Yep.
Like, Erwin, too. He's going to get hurt, because she's just not into you like that.
And I, like, if there will never be the Edge of 17 sequel, I don't think. But whatever happens after this, you're so right that it's like, okay, so now that Krista and Nadine have made up, you think Krista and Nadine are going to go back to being friends? And, like, because you know how her mom's like, oh, if Krista marries Darian,
oh my God.
Can you imagine, like, that is going to be the most horrific wedding weekend because Nadine and Krista, we're going to have the opposite happen where Darian is going to walk in on Nadine and Krista having sex in
But
their room.
literally though, like when we were watching this, because Kelsey watched it with me, and she was like, no, but that's perfect. It's just like Dickinson. Like she'll marry your brother, and then you guys can just sleep together the whole time.
That is, I thought about that too. I was like, wait, this is actually very like Dickinson.
What happens when you get typecast as the lesbian who cannot stop sleeping with her sister-in-law?
Right?
Is that like that's a really weird niche
That's a
thing
very
that's happening,
that's a
Haley
very
Steinfeld?
specific
Like,
thing.
what is this energy that you are carrying around that people cannot stop casting you as this person?
That is honestly so comical, but it is like the exact scenario. That's why I'm saying, like, how will this ever work out well for Darian and Erwin? It will not.
No,
It cannot.
It will not.
There's no way that it will. Like, Nadine and Krista are madly in love with each other, and now that like they've sort of gotten over some shit, like it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be bad.
And because it's like they're gonna like tiptoe around it as long as they can until it explodes.
Oh, it will. Like
Right?
there's no, like they're gonna be like one night Nadine's like,
Darian's out of town.
Yeah,
They get a
ugh.
little too drunk again.
exactly, and then
That night is ending with no clothes on anybody.
yeah, and then Darian's gonna come back, and it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be a mess. It's
Bad.
gonna be a mess. But instead, the movie just like glosses over all of that, and they're like, actually, forget the whole intro of this movie and how we spent 20 minutes talking about Krista and setting up Krista as the crux of this movie and making everything about Krista. Actually, it's about some dude at Petland who was in juvie, but he's hot now, and also she has no interest in hooking up with him. Definitely, it's about this guy, and you're like,
Nick
literally,
Nick
what is
Mossman.
it's what is happening.
It's bad. Also,
It's so bad.
let's talk about the Nick Mossman situation as well, because
It's so deflective. It's just
this
like,
movie is wild in the fact that like the amount of the amount of high school gay lesbian shit Nadine does
Yes.
in the span
yes,
of this film is
yes.
like every single
It's
thing a high school
classic
closeted lesbian would do.
repressed
Like
lesbian.
every
Yes,
single
like,
thing. In love with her,
everything.
right? Let's go through from the beginning. In love with her best friend.
Okay.
Friend breakup,
Yes.
right? Date a safe man. Throw yourself excessively, aggressively at a
Yeah.
man.
At the bad boy.
Bad boy to try to prove to yourself that like you're cool.
Yes.
You could lose your virginity. You're not gay.
Push away the bad boy when he actually tries to
Yes,
do anything.
exactly.
Push away the safe man when he actually tries to do anything. Like, it screams repressed lesbian.
Oh my God, it's so
everything she
intense.
does. Literally everything. Oh, no, wait, I have one other important thing. When she goes on the date with Nick, right? So she sends Nick that just
Aggressive
rough message.
message.
Just no good. No
we
good.
could do it in the
Nadine.
Petland stockroom.
Bad. Not
Bad.
good. Sends him that message, and then when he's like, "You're so sweet, let's meet up," what is the first thing she does? Better them up for my date
Oh,
with a
yeah.
boy, right? Like, she dresses like a bisexual chaos disaster this whole movie, right? Like, she is so gay.
Yep.
Every outfit she wears is so
Gay.
queer, head to toe, start to finish. And the second that Nick is like, "Let's go on a date," she's like, "Cute little sundress, cute little denim jacket. I'm all cute with my purse, and I'm straight and femmy. Here I am, cute." And you're like, what is? She has like a personality transplant to go on that date.
She is cosplaying as a straight woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
she did it, and I was like, wow, that is some epic repressed shit. Like,
Epic.
oh,
Epic.
lordy, that is something.
I'm I'm gonna tell everyone a story.
I'm excited.
It's bad though. It's bad. So in high school, I mostly stuck with safe boys, right? But there was this one boy who he played percussion with me, okay? And he
Oh,
was
a bad boy, Ellie.
yeah, no, he was like one of like the hot boys. Like it was like
Yeah.
he was very hot and popular and blah 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 whatever. And because we were in percussion together, like we would talk sometimes and like we would actually like had each other's numbers and whatever. And so I messaged him to meet me when I was in Jamaica Plain at the Arboretum late at night. And it was just me and him at the Arboretum. And we started kissing. And then he tried to do more things. And I freaked out. I kid you not. I flipped to the point where he was like, "What's wrong with you?" Like I relate.
Homosexuality
I
was
relate
the answer.
so hard to that. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hook up with this dude," and then I showed up there, and like it actually was happening, and I was like, "Get this away from
Yeah,
me!"
and your body goes into like crisis mode.
Yeah,
right.
I was like, "Get this far, far, far away from me."
And that tiny little gay part of you that was hidden so deep down is like, alert, alert,
Yes.
abort mission.
I was literally terrified.
And you watch her doing that. Like, I think that scene is so uncomfortable to watch as a queer woman because
yes,
you're
I
just
felt
watching.
it.
Yes, you're watching her go through that like in real time. And it's so clear. It's so clear, right? Because here's the thing is like they don't give any explanation in the movie. There's no explanation for why it's like, hey, you've been crushing on the bad boy. Oh, Juvie made him so hot. Oh, I'm so into him. Oh, I want your tits or your mouth on my tits and let's do this. And then the second that he makes a move, you freak out.
Well,
right?
I mean, the explanation for that is she's literally probably never even kissed a boy. Like, even if she was...
No, she hasn't, and she's
even if she
spiraling
was,
out of control.
Yeah,
But
even if
here's
she
the
was
thing.
straight.
But
that's
you're
a very...
expected,
Yeah.
you're expected to believe that she is spiraling out of control because her friend started dating her brother, which is like already not a normal emotional response to that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's the only reason that you're given for why she suddenly is like, I'm into Nick. No, I'm not. Don't touch me. Like,
Yep.
That's the only explanation, and it doesn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense, man. Like, that's the problem, is like when you watch this movie through a gay lens, everything makes perfect sense. It's just teaching people to make the same mistakes that like closeted high schoolers have been making forever. And it's
so
like
painful.
we can do better. We can give them better things to aspire to, because what you're doing is you're making a movie. Like, I honestly feel, was this movie written by a dude? I didn't even look it up.
Wasn't. It was not. And that's why I do want to say, like, in terms of the explanation of it, right? I do also feel like, as a 17-year-old girl who has never had any sort of experience with a man, of course you're going to freak out. No matter what, you would be freaking out if somebody's, like, very aggressive with you sexually and you've literally, like, are like, this is the first experience I've ever had. Like, she's not comfortable in that situation. Even if she was straight. Even if she was straight.
But there's a difference between, like, things going too far and still being into the person, and things going too far and having no interest in that person.
Yeah, she has zero interest.
And she's clearly in the second camp, right?
But
that's the thing that I don't understand, is like, part of me wants to be like, oh, dear writer, do you need to sit down and have a talk with us then? Because I really thought that I was all ready to be like, if a dude wrote this movie, then like 1000% you are writing a movie about a poor, repressed, confused girl who hurt you and you just couldn't figure it out. If it's a woman who wrote the script, dude, I'm like, do you have some stuff you need to like work through? Like, do you
Oh yeah, I would not.
That we could help explain to you? Because like, this movie to me makes perfect sense. It's the wrong movie, because this isn't what we should be giving like young queer teenagers as an example to look up to, because they're the mistakes. They're the classic mistakes that we've all made. But I'm like, everything in this movie makes perfect sense if you watch this movie and say, oh, look at these two tiny gabies who cannot figure stuff out. That explains everything. It explains everything that she does with Nick. It explains everything she does with Erwin. Like, she keeps leading Erwin on and having zero interest in him. And he's so sweet and he's so cute and he's trying so hard, and she just like literally cannot see it, cannot get it. And she's like, you're so sweet. You're like an old man. And you're like, oh honey.
God.
Like,
yeah,
if
no, she
this
is
is
not
how-
attracted to
if
him
this
in
is
the
how
least.
you no, and if that's how you're like, that's a compliment. I love when people are old men. And you started the movie out by describing the most important person in the entire world to you and the love of your life as like a small elderly gentleman. How do you not see these connections?
Yep.
How do you not see what's happening? Like, you
I
are in love
have
with your
to
best
belie-
friend.
I have to believe that this, like, I don't know. I feel like there had to have been some shit that changed. Like, this had to have been a gay movie to start.
There's no way. There's no way. And I don't think they gave the note to the costume department. They didn't get a memo that the movie was no longer gay because they dressed her as gay as you could possibly imagine. Like, honestly, if you asked me to design a gayer wardrobe for a character, I don't think I can. Like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think it gets gayer than Haley Steinfeld in this movie.
Oh, no. Like, literally, I just feel like high school repressed lesbians can relate 10,000% to this film.
I feel like we have talked a lot this season about friend breakups and about, like, overly intense friendships, and this movie was, like, triggering.
Oh,
This movie
I
is hard to watch, having all of those conversations, like, fresh in our mind, and just seeing them all, like, every piece of it played out on screen. I was just like, wow, this is like a lot to sit through, honestly.
halfway through, I was like, do I like this movie? Like literally, I was like, oh. And I had to check the Rotten Tomatoes score, like, legitimately, because, like, I do feel like if you watch it as a queer person, it actually is a really painful movie.
It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, I think
It's
it's
hard to
supposed to be a
watch.
painful movie, to be honest. It is like an angsty teen painful movie, but, like, I do feel like they try to pretend like there's, like, and it's a happy ending, and look at everything's going well now. But it's like,
Yeah, everyone's with the boys that they're supposed to be with, and you're just like, oh no. And that's why my gay synopsis was that PSA, because I'm like, honestly, this is the wrong, like, don't ever watch this movie if you're, like, you know,
do not
confused
watch this
or
movie if you're
figuring
in
shit
love with your
out
best
or, like,
friend. Do
not
not
out
watch
yet.
it.
It's just, it's gonna hurt.
I
It's gonna-
also cannot.
It's
Oh my
gonna
God.
drive things deeper down, you know?
I need to hear, if anyone who's listening to this, if you watched this movie with your best friend who you were in love with, tell us about
my
that
God.
experience, because that seems very painful. Let us know.
That's rough.
Rough.
Also, we're sorry for you, but please tell us about
Also,
it.
so sorry, and I hope things end better than Nadine's.
Please tell us you got together. Listen, I want to remake the ending of this movie because I need this movie to end differently for people to, like, see what should be, like, to see what's actually happening. Because this movie never tells you. It never tells you what's really
Oh, no.
happening. And I feel like I watch it and I was like, I know exactly what's happening, and I don't think this movie even knows what's happening in it. It didn't figure it out. It hasn't gotten
No.
there. So
Yeah, we just really need an ending where Nadine and Krista get together. They realize their feelings for each other. All the guys become out of the realm. You can even have, like, a makeup, like, because they had their, like, nice little makeup scene between Nadine and Darian. You can even have that scene where, like, and then if you want to really, like, endear us to Darian too, you can have that moment where he's like, I get it, like, you're
Yeah.
gay and I love you, and, like, I'm happy for you and Krista. Whatever. Like, you could try to have that kind of a happy ending. Like, I doubt that would happen with Darian because thinks he's the shit. But like, yeah. Also, like,
yeah.
her brother is so, like, they're both. To be fair, Nadine and Darian are both so mean to each other. But I'm like,
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
you literally know that your best friend has basically been bullied by her brother, and, like, you start dating her bully.
The brother. Yeah, it's
It
rough
makes
all
no
around.
sense. So yeah,
Well, it makes sense if you're in love with your best friend and you can't date her, so you date her twin. I mean, sure.
yeah, but it just
Whatever. So who are we shipping, Ellie? Who are we
I
shipping?
mean, it's so obvious. So we're definitely shipping Nadine and Krista together because it would have
Okay.
made this film so much better. Keep that first meet cute section. Maybe have a little bit of conflict where, like, she starts hooking up with the brother, but, like, it doesn't get that far because then they have enough tension. Then it's like, all right, bye. And then we don't have to worry about all those other men.
And what's their ship name?
Christine.
Christine, yeah. Christine
Yeah, with a D.
with a D. I like it. I
Love
ship
it.
them.
Anyone
I
else?
wanted them to get together so bad.
So badly. Like, it's honestly psychotic that they didn't. No sense. Are you shipping anyone else in this film?
I mean, who else is even in
There's
this?
no one. There's no one else.
There's
no one else.
one.
Oh, did you want to talk about the relationship with Woody Harrelson at all?
Oh, Woody Harrelson's in this. He's funny. I don't know. I mean, I guess all I want to say is, like, there's also something so deeply queer about the, like, I have, like, way too close a relationship with my teacher, and, like, no one at school really gets me. I'm just gonna hide out in my teacher's class all the time. And I don't know, they're funny. I liked their little relationship. That part of the movie, I was like, it's a little unrealistic because, like, if you actually had this relationship with a teacher, like, that's probably not great. But they're very funny together. You know? It gave me strong, like, Woody Harrelson as Haymitch in Hunger Games, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that kind of, like, dry, too sarcastic mentor figure. He's just great in that role. He was very good.
He did good, yeah. All right, you ready for our Q and Gay?
I'm ready. Hit me.
Q and gay.
Question number 1. What is the gayest thing Nadine wears? A, the jacket, B, the shoes, C, the tights under socks, or D, the hoodie?
Listen, everything is a strong contender here. The answer is the jacket. And I will tell you why. Because I'm so jealous of that jacket. I wish I'd had that jacket in high school. That is exactly what high school me would have worn. I would have lived in that jacket if I had that jacket when I was 17. Let's be real. I would still probably live in that jacket. It's a great jacket.
Beautiful
and
and gay.
Question 2, Ellie. Have you ever had a crush date your sibling? Yes or no?
I have not, luckily. I have a sister and a brother, so anyone in the world could have dated one of my siblings, but never happened. Lucky me. How about you?
Lucky you. I have not. I'm really curious to get those responses on that, though.
Yeah, that just... I don't know how realistic that is. I'm just like, does that happen that often?
It's so funny because it's such a trope,
It's
right?
such a thing in movies, right? But I'm like, legitimately...
And that's what I'm curious about. Does it actually happen?
Like, when you really think about it, I'm like, even if one of my friends had, like, a really hot sister, I don't think I would date them.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong. Especially in high school. Maybe, like, as we're adults, we can be a little less complicated about it, but whatever. All right, question number 3. Where did you lose your V? And I also like to say, what is virginity anyways? But for the context of this, where did you lose your V? A, in your room. B, in a car. C, in a pool. Or D, in a store stock room.
I guess I will have to say it in your room?
Yeah.
It wasn't in my
a
room.
Yeah.
It was in a room.
In a room. Yes. Nice.
It wasn't in her room either, actually, I don't
It
think.
was in somebody's room.
Okay, question 4, Ellie. Who is the more obvious beard in this movie out of A, Nick, B, Erwin, or C, Darian, with Darian obviously being Krista's beard?
That is literally the hardest question.
Yeah, it's tough. So
I just-
three-way tie.
Yeah, like, I really do feel like Nadine's beards are so obvious, but I actually think I'm gonna go with C, Darian.
He's the tropiest beard. I mean,
He's like the
it's-
tropiest beard. And like, we literally, like, I feel like we see more of Nick and Erwin interacting with Nadine than we ever see Darian and Krista. So I'm just like, Darian. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's just Darian. That's all.
Yep.
All right, question number 5. Where did you eat lunch in high school? A, the cafeteria, B, a classroom, C, the library, or D, the bleachers?
I usually ate in the cafeteria. I did occasionally eat lunch in the library, though. So
Why? Were you doing homework?
I don't know. I had sometimes yes, other times it was just like the cafeteria was a bit much. You like high schoolers sometimes. And listen, this is how cool I was in high school, okay? I was part of the team that read the morning announcements
Nice.
in my high school. And so and we used to do that from the library, and the librarian super liked us all. And so they didn't care if we used to go and eat lunch in there. And it was just like much more quiet and chill.
Nice.
Wasn't all the time, but like sometimes, just nice to get away from it all, like a vacation, a little lunchtime vacation.
Could you get lunch off campus ever?
No.
Yeah, us either. Which is so dumb. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like not, but it's like I also went to school literally in the Fenway area. Like I could have walked to like good restaurants,
Yeah.
and they would never let us leave. Rude. But yeah, I did the cafeteria or the theater, of course.
Of course.
Theater nerds. Wow. At the age of 17, I feel like we screamed more than we ever have.
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings.
I
think
my throat hurts.
The main takeaway, Ellie, is edge of 17.
Should have been
Should've been
gay. Holy shit. It's so gay.
Let me hear you say, hip, 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 we're gay.
We love hearing from all of you. We love continuing to build this community. So we like to shout out some of our favorite things every episode. And as we've been doing this month while we're crowdfunding, we want to shout out all of the people who have been donating and helping support Journey to the Heart, because it just means so much to us. And so we just want to make sure that we thank everybody individually. So this week, we want to say thank you to Isabel,
Andrew,
Winter,
Lena,
Sarah,
Vanessa,
Tom,
Eris,
Ethan,
Tal,
Nicole,
Deanna,
Alex,
Mary,
Scott,
Deborah,
Claire,
Barbara,
Connor,
Mary,
Ronnie,
Marty,
Danielle,
Durr,
Connie,
Majuba,
Michelle,
Tien,
Leon,
Ashley,
Michael,
and Kayla. Thank you all so much. That's so many names this week. We're going to have even more in these final just under 2 weeks. We're going to do this. bit.ly/support Journey to the Heart.
And as always, we want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Jess Klaus,
Tanya Ferguson,
Jacqueline Rose Nishino,
Sarah and Julia,
Danny Gunluck Tamora,
Brittany Ray,
Alana Rosen,
Lizette Stye,
Stacy,
Adi Benitez,
Fiona W.,
Whitney Lennon,
and Jennifer Trujillo.
and our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen,
Leah Henley,
Liz Chen,
Julia Gonzalez,
and Ashley White. Thank you all. We could not keep doing this podcast without all of you and without all of our patrons. And we're just so grateful. Like every week right now, it's a lot.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Let's Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at letshangoutpod@gmail.com.
Or check out our website at letshangoutpod.com.
You can also check out our Dollar Bean Productions website at dollarbeanproductions.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop.
And if you haven't caught up on The Flame yet, remember you can listen to all of the episodes and you can vote for us in the Webbies at bit.ly/votefortheflame.
We're also posting videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/letshangoutpod to catch them.
If you want to help support the podcast, you can leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps new people find the show, and we love reading the reviews.
If you want to support us on Patreon, we will be releasing bonus episodes once we hit 150 patrons. You can do that at bit.ly/lespatreon.
And if you want to help support us making more musicals like The Flame or Journey to the Heart, you can find our Patreon at bit.ly/theflame Patreon.
If you want to get some Let's Hang Out merch, you can get that at bit.ly/lesshop. It is just about time to start prepping your Pride clothing.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee.
And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.